Hello everyone and welcome to our week one video. I'm sorry that this is a video and not us talking and getting to know each other synchronously. That said, Mother Nature has other plans for us this week, so we will take this opportunity for me to go over the syllabus, which frankly can be a little bit boring anyway. And then next week we will just dive right in. That said, please send me your questions that you have at the end of the session, and I will work on answering them. Let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, welcome. Welcome to the University of Houston. If you are rejoining us, welcome back. We are so excited to have you all here. This is going to be an amazing experience that is both challenging and uplifting, and I am so honored to be part of your very first semester in the EDD program. What we're going to talk about this evening is first the syllabus, then we'll go over the class assignments in depth, and I will pull up the actual assignments, a few tips, and then a preview of what is to come. Because my skills making videos are so incredible, I will navigate back and forth between documents, and I thank you for your patience. Although I'll have you know that I've been nominated for many, many Academy Awards, but other people keep getting them in the instructional video category. Soon I will get mine. All right, so let's start with our syllabus. See, this is where the technical part gets really, really good. All right, here's our syllabus. It is on Blackboard. If you have not yet gotten to know Blackboard, Blackboard can be accessed through access.uh.edu. On that landing page, you will see a tile that is called Blackboard. That is where you will find this and your other class. If you are having trouble opening Blackboard, please be sure that your browser allows both cookies and pop-ups from trusted sites such as the University of Houston. Blackboard will actually open as a second tab or web page, and so you need to allow pop-ups for your browser to open it. On that page, in our class page, you will find not only our syllabus, but additional readings, additional resources, all of our assignments, all of the places where you turn in our assignments, the discussion board. In other words, it is a smorgasbord of Intro to Research goodness. Please spend some time with it, get to know it, love it. All right, so here is our syllabus. Our course day and time, as you can see, 5:30 to 8:30. I promise now that none of our courses or none of our class meetings will be the full 3 hours. It just won't, one, be necessary, and two, I think that it's unnecessary to meet for that long online, given that I know you all have long days already and that most of those days are being spent online. The course. This course is meant to be an introduction to what it means to do research. This course therefore lays the foundation for the successful execution of your thesis project. This degree is part research, part practice. This is the research part. We will learn about 3 major research paradigms starting next week and how they are critical to shaping research questions and research methods. We'll learn about the proposal process, and particularly we'll focus on these first 3 parts: framing the problem, generating research questions, and writing your literature review. Those are your first 2 chapters of your proposal and what will later become your thesis. The course is writing intensive, and you should expect to emerge not in May, but in December, sorry, typo, as stronger, more critical writers. Although by May, you will also be stronger, more critical writers. So here we have our course learning objectives. The first is that you come away from this course being a better reader of academic articles. Reading an academic article is not the same as reading the newspaper, reading a novel. So please put your thinking cap and your listening ears on throughout the semester and ask lots of questions. Never be afraid to ask questions. One of the first videos that you will watch for next week is about how to read an article. It is an amazing video by myself. It is long. I covered how to read 2 different kinds of articles. You may want to split it up and not watch it in one fell swoop, but hopefully you will find it useful. A second objective is to be able to explain these paradigms. This is really important because these paradigms served to frame how we even pose questions. What kinds of questions are we interested in asking? How can we answer those questions? What kind of assumptions are built into the questions that we ask? It's really vital that you come away from the couple weeks that we spend on these paradigms with a good understanding of what they are, why we have them, what the differences are, why they're important. And if you feel that by the end of those couple of weeks it doesn't click for you, please let me know and we can talk further about it. Read, analyze, and critique educational research. This is not just about reading and absorbing new information. This is about reading, weighing the evidence presented to you and the way it has been collected and presented to you, and deciding, what do I think about this? Is this good enough? Have they made their case? What case is still left to be made? In what ways do I disagree with this, and what am I going to do about it in my own research? Improve your academic writing through peer collaboration and critique. Though this won't be quite as collaborative as a face-to-face course will be, we still will have opportunities to read each other's work and give critique. Critique is really at the heart of improving. So I want you all to become comfortable with the notion of critique as growth and not critique as tearing down. And that is both how I want you to think about it as the receiver of critique and feedback, but also the giver of critique and feedback. And most of you already are school leaders or on your way to becoming school and district leaders. And so you hopefully already think about critique and feedback as a way to help people grow and as a way to grow. And I just want you to continue that thinking here in this class. You will be able to select a research problem and appropriate research questions, and we will work on that concretely in this class, and then understand different research designs and when to use which. I'll talk more towards in a couple minutes about our critical standards project. In short, you are going to write a short literature review that addresses the problem that you're interested in, and that is the motivation for your being in this program. I'll let you on your own read through the standards that are covered in this class. I'll let you read through what it means to do distance education, but spoiler alert, this is distance education. Here is our class format. Of course, because of COVID, the College of Education this semester is all online. We will use Teams, not Zoom, although should Teams become a problem, we will move seamlessly to Zoom. Just under half of our class meetings will be synchronous. That means we'll meet online together, and the rest will be asynchronous. You'll find the full schedule for the semester below in the syllabus. We'll go over that quickly. But our synchronous sessions are going to focus primarily on whole and small group discussions and answering your questions. Synchronous sessions, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to work to make sure they're not longer than an hour and a half. Asynchronous sessions will combine readings, online reflections, videos, and when you're lucky, podcasts. Communication. I would say this in any semester, but this is perhaps particularly the case this semester. Communicate early and often. Do not leave things until the last minute. If something comes up, whatever that is, you're having a really bad day, you have a crisis at school, you have a crisis at home, somebody gets sick, just let me know. I'm not here to make your life miserable. I'm here to be part of this journey with you. And so if you need some flexibility, just let me know. I do not receive email on my on my cell phone. I encourage all of you to consider adopting that practice for your life. What does that mean? That means I can only check my email when I have my computer on, which I mostly do between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30. So if you do not hear from me, if you send me an email at 4:30 or 5:30 at night, and you do not hear from me right away, it is not that I'm ignoring you. I will get back to you in the morning. I also tend not to check my email very frequently during the weekend. Again, if you send me an email Friday afternoon and you don't hear from me until Monday, that is normal. I'm not ignoring you. If you send me an email, however, on a Tuesday and you don't hear from me by, let's say, the end of Wednesday, that may mean that your email has slipped to the bottom of my list of emails. Please follow up with me. I will not be offended. We do have a required text. And some of you have asked, and I appreciate the request for clarification. Our text is Gall, Gall, and Borg, which you will see in our schedule. I write for short GGB. And I meant to clarify that here, but so I'm clarifying that now. GGB refers to our required text. You can purchase this in print or you can purchase the PDF. You can also rent it. I don't really recommend renting it just because I think you'll find the textbook to be very useful throughout the course of your studies. That said, I'm no preference for whether you buy it in a digital form, which is how I have it, or if you buy it in a text form. That's really about your preferences and how you like to read. I recommend that you purchase the publication manual for APA, the 7th edition. That said, you can also access guidelines for APA style online. For example, the Purdue OWL Lab. So literally just Google Purdue OWL, OWL Lab, and you'll find that they have all of APA's guidelines. So if you decide you just don't want to purchase another book, please become friends with that webpage or APA's webpage. In addition to the required text, you'll find that we have other course readings. They are all on Blackboard. In the syllabus, when you see our class schedule, I assign reading for the next week. So for example, reading listed in week 1 is to be completed for class in week 2. Please keep that in mind so that you don't get ahead or don't get behind or skip an assignment. I'll let you read through the technology requirements and support services. Please know that the university does provide support services for technology, and we provide, starting this semester, really enhanced services. So if you need some assistance and your workplace is not able to help you, please call any of these numbers or reach out to people at the University of Houston. All right, as I mentioned earlier, academic writing is really important for this program. And I'll say that academic writing and formal writing is really important, I think, for life, but certainly for your job. There's nothing more disappointing than when my son's school reaches out to me as a parent and the newsletter or the document is hard to read or has typos or just isn't well crafted, or when there's a presentation and the public speaking is not very good. Communication is critical to being a successful school leader. It's how you connect with your community. It's how you bring your team along with you. It's how you persuade. It's how you reassure. Please take it seriously. Please take this semester as an opportunity to really get better at this. Participation and attendance. You'll see here that I have a couple different policy statements. One is the universities. And what's really important here is that the university has this excused absence policy. I think that my class policy really subsumes this, but I welcome you to take a look at it. This is really meant to address the situation that we're living through right now with COVID. I am not, as I said, here to make your life worse. I know that all of us already are struggling. You have families, you have work, you have pets, you have parents, you have yourself to take care of. I also have kids, so I understand that this is not an easy time to be embarking on your EDD. Not that there's ever really an easy time, but this is certainly more challenging. Just let me know what's going on. I'm not going to punish you for missing class. That said, I do want to emphasize the importance of participating as much as you are physically and emotionally able to. You as an adult have chosen to be in this program. I commend you for that decision. You're stepping up into a position of leadership in your community, and your community is going to be grateful for that. Your community relies on you for guidance, for having a steady hand, for your wisdom, for your experience, for your creativity. Be respectful to your community and honor the commitment you're making to this path to becoming a leader. Come to class when we meet synchronously. Be engaged. Turn off your cell phone. Turn off your email. If you really can't be engaged, I'd much rather you send me an email and say, I have a crisis at my school. I have lots of parents writing me. I'm not going to be able to participate tonight. I'd rather that than you sitting silently on the other end of the computer. I'm just being honest. I think you would probably feel the same way if you had staff in your staff meetings or students in your courses who are just checked out. The flip side of that, of course, is that I am going to work to make this as engaging as possible. This is one of the reasons that so many of our sessions are asynchronous, because a lot of the material that we cover this semester, just to be frank, is just new information, and I don't see that we need to do that in a synchronous way. My intent, therefore, is for our synchronous sessions to be more engaging and participatory. I do not give grades for attendance or participation. My goal with that policy is that I will not punish you for attending to something that in the moment needs to take precedence. I also have this policy based on the trust that we have in each other, that you are going to show up as much as possible and be as engaged as you can. I also want to account for the fact that we have different learning styles. Some people, like me, are very talkative, more extroverted, like to blurt things out even when I don't know the answer. Some people are much more reserved, introverted, like to think, reflect before they want to participate. And it's just not fair, I think, to punish those people who need a little bit more time to just let information percolate. Mindfulness ambassadors. What is this mindfulness stuff? So hopefully all of you are familiar with mindfulness. If not, I encourage you to visit some of the links that are down here at the bottom of the page in the footnotes. Mindfulness is a secular practice that helps us build and maintain a moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and surrounding environment through a gentle and nurturing lens. It's not sitting cross-legged necessarily and chanting Om. You can if you want to, but you do not have to. It's really learning how to let your thoughts come as they will and just accept things for how they are. We are going to participate in this program that is run out of one of my colleagues' research labs. And how this will work is we will have every week an asynchronous guided meditation, not mediation, that's a typo, meditation session that will be available to you through Blackboard. Each mindfulness session lasts about 10 minutes. At the beginning and the end of each meditation, the ambassadors are asking that you fill out a very short survey and turn that in. In the past, I've participated, this is my 4th or 5th semester having my classes participate. Students have found that it helps them de-stress at the beginning of class. It helps them disconnect from the rigors of their day before class starts. And I hope that if it's something that you also find beneficial, that you will continue to find time for it in your own life. This is part of a research project, so the surveys that they're collecting are part of the research. You will therefore be sent a consent form to consent to participate. To be clear, you do not have to participate in any of this. You can participate in the meditation without participating in the data collection. And whatever your decision is, it has no bearing on your grade. If you choose to participate in the meditation sessions and complete the surveys, you can get 3 points of extra credit, but you would not lose any points. Let me know if you have any questions, and I can put you in touch with the PI for that research. Another thing we'll do this semester is that we're going to have guest speakers. And these are students, some of whom are my former students, some of whom are students that I had the pleasure of having in class. They've all graduated, and they are now local school and district leaders and nonprofit leaders. And I've invited them all to come and participate either asynchronously or synchronously with our class. I've sent them a list of prompts or questions to respond to. You will see that there are already 2 video links in Blackboard, and I welcome you to view those videos. I ask them to keep them to no longer than 15 minutes. And then several of these doctors will join us synchronously throughout the semester. You can see in the schedule below who will be joining us and when. I'm really excited about this. I did this last semester and the semester before, and students really enjoyed it, hearing from students and not just from me about what it means to go through the EDD program at the University of Houston, tips, things they wish they had known, things they wish they had done differently, and then any other questions that you come up with. Recording of class. The short of this long paragraph is I get to record class and you do not. The purpose for which I would record class would be to share it back to you in case you miss class, or in case we go over something too quickly and you just want to hear it again. The purpose for which you cannot record class is that we do not want you sharing this outside of the university community and really outside of the course community. If you have questions about that, please contact the university. Assignments. I'm going to skip over this section because I'm going to come back to this later. Grading. So grades are based solely on work that's turned in. Again, no grade for participation or attendance. All assignments are due on the date listed in the syllabus. And if for some reason you're going to turn something in late, I just need to know. And in most cases, I'm going to give you that extension. Here are how the grades will look at the end of the course. And now let's jump into the course schedule. You'll see that I have updated the course schedule so that we see this week we are asynchronous, and next week we will be synchronous. So we'll move that activity to next week. We'll move our introductions to next week. And then we'll have another synchronous session the week after that. We will also have our library orientation, just a brief meeting with the librarian to let you know what types of services are available this semester. I also have posted 2 links with library resources in our Blackboard class page. And after that, you'll see that we sort of flip back and forth between asynchronous, synchronous, with slightly heavier on asynchronous. Our synchronous courses or class meetings after the first few weeks are really going to focus on an opportunity to check in, answer your questions, troubleshoot, and try to give you all opportunities to talk to each other as well. The best way, the best strategy for getting through this program is to build a really strong community. And that, for me, is what is lost potentially this semester with us being online. So we're going to try to recreate that. You can also see in red when our assignments are due. Please put those dates in your calendar now. Please plan accordingly. And you can also see we will not meet the week of Thanksgiving, especially since our class is on Thanksgiving. We want you at home with your families or your pets or whoever and eating whatever it is that you like to eat and just having that day for yourself. The final assignment, which is our critical standards project, is due Sunday, December 6th. The remaining policies that are covered in the syllabus are really university policies. I'm not going to go over them in this video. I would like for you to please take the time to read through them on your own. I will mention 2 pieces. One is that plagiarism, which is academic integrity, is extremely important. And if you plagiarize, it can result in your removal from the program. If you ever have questions about what plagiarism is not, and whether potentially you are plagiarizing, I just need you to let me know, and we can talk and we can look at your example and we can figure it out. The worst way to find out what plagiarism is by committing it and not being honest about it and then getting in trouble. Counseling and psychological services, if you need or somebody in your family needs some help, please reach out to the university. And if there's a way that the university can help, those resources are there. Online etiquette, treat people like you were looking at them in the face and only say things that you would say to their face. And if you say mean things to people's faces, please consider being even more polite online. We are going to get into tough issues in this class and in this program. As you know, our mission as a program, our focus is on equity. Equity in America means we are going to talk about race. We're going to talk about class. We're going to talk about tough issues because these issues manifest themselves in our schools. We are not going to solve the world's problems in the class, but we are going to talk about them respectfully. I don't want to shy away from difficult conversations, but I want us to engage with them professionally, respectfully, and from a position of genuine interest, genuine openness, and honesty. An important norm I do want to emphasize is because we are going to be online so much, I do ask that you all leave your cameras on. That way I see that you are engaged, you are showing your colleagues in the cohort you are engaged. The only circumstance under which I think it would be appropriate to maybe turn your camera off is if you're having connectivity issues, and having your camera on can mean that your internet connection is slower. Changes to the syllabus. My syllabus is pretty awesome, but you can already see I had some typos in it. Changes to the syllabus hopefully are going to be kept to a minimum, but when I have to make them, I will always make them in a way that is in your favor. So for example, I'm not going to create additional assignments, but I might get rid of an assignment or change an assignment. If you ever have questions about changes that I'm making, please let me know. I will always notify you of those changes. I won't just slip one under the rug and hope you don't notice. All right, with that, I'm going to talk about our assignments. The first is our ongoing reading. Ongoing reading, let me go to our course schedule. The very first ongoing reading assignment is due for week 2. So what is this? And what craziness am I foisting upon you? Ongoing reading is me asking you to start your journey of reading and becoming an expert right now. The key to a good thesis is reading. If you don't know what has come before you and the research that has already been done and the background of the problem of practice or research that you're interested in addressing in your thesis, you are really going to struggle. So when I say ongoing reading, what I'm asking you to do is think about what is the problem that brought me to this program. We talked when we met during the orientation a little bit about your research interests. We had mentoring, we had STEM education, we had leadership. So what is that problem that motivates you, that brought you here? And start picking articles and reading them, one per week. And your first question is, where do I find those articles? The best place to start, anyway, is Google Scholar. So scholar.google.com. The library may disagree with me, but this is my go-to. So let's say that I'm interested in leadership mentoring. Okay, so here's all these articles. And you know what I might say is wow, a lot of these are actually, maybe some of these are too broad. So I'm going to make it more specific. Educational leadership mentoring. Okay, great. So here's some articles. And I want you to find what we call an empirical study. An empirical study means that it is not an opinion piece primarily. It is not a review of other studies. It is a study. It can be a qualitative study, it can be a quantitative study, but it must be an actual study. The article has to report on the background, the previous literature, the methods for the study, and the results of the study. If you find an article and you're not sure, please send it to me. If you cannot find the article that you would like, you say you find it here on Google Scholar, but you do not have this link over here to the right where it says, here's the PDF. You can, lucky you, go to Interlibrary Loan, so iliad.lib.uh.edu, and you can request. Let's go. You can just Google Interlibrary Loan, UH. You can log in and you can request it. You put in the information and you hit submit request. And within usually 2 days, you will get a copy of that journal article or book chapter in your inbox. And I want you to use a guided template, which will be online, for taking notes. And you will turn in those notes to me. And that is really an accountability piece. My doubt is not that you will do the work. The accountability is for doing it on a weekly basis. Please let me know if you have questions about that. You can tweak the template. You can turn it into a graphic organizer. You can do whatever you want, but I want you to focus on those key points that are in the template. Those key points align with my video about how to read an academic article. In other words, what is important and what can I skim? That is the ongoing reading. There are, let's see, how many are there? There are 9 throughout the semester. So that means by the end of the semester, you will have read 9 new articles. Those are going to be the basis of our other assignments. So we have our first assignment relating to this literature review, and the research that you're reading is a critique. This is a 3-page paper in which you summarize and critique one of the articles you've read as part of this ongoing reading. This is due in week 6. So it comes up pretty quick. By week 6, you will have read 4 articles. You need to pick one of them. The important thing about this assignment is it's not just summary. It's saying, this is where I think there's a gap still in this article, in this study. And you need to have an argument about that. And we'll talk about what it means to have a thesis statement or an argument. But you can't just say, here's this article I read. This is what it was about. I loved it. It was amazing. No, you have to think about, what door did it leave open for future research? Where did it fall short? And we'll talk about what that could include. So here I've tried to lay out, this is what it has to have in it. This is really important. I can't emphasize this enough, this critique. And this is kind of gets woven into your argument or your thesis statement. Here's 3 pages. It has to follow all of these technical requirements. It's 15 points. I don't use a rubric, but these are the areas that I'm going to pay attention to when I'm grading. The comparison. The comparison is the next step. So that is due in week 11. By then, you will have done 8 ongoing readings. You will pick 2 of them. You could use the same one as you used for your critique, or you could pick 2 new ones. They should be related. In fact, all of your readings should be related because they should all relate to your topic. The difference here is that you now have 2 articles. You're not just summarizing both of them. You're saying, how are they similar? How are they different? And how do they collectively contribute to our knowledge, but also maybe leave that door open for more in future research. It's 4 to 5 pages. It's also 15 points, due week 11. Our mini literature review, based on all of your reading, to the extent that all the reading that you've done is related, 10 pages. And this is where we really start to dip our toe into what is writing a thesis. The 2 key parts of a literature review are summary and synthesis. Summary and synthesis. So what do we take away from this? Where are we left? We will talk more about what it means to write a literature review later in the class. This is just the overview of the particular assignment. So you have to have an introduction. You have to have a main body that goes over the studies you've included, as well as the critiques, and then a conclusion. And the emphasis here is, where is future research needed? And this is really to push your thinking towards your own potential research areas. Due December 6th. Other assignments. Right away in week, where is it? Our group video. I think this is this the group video? Oh, this is the article. This is a new assignment for this week, and this is related for this semester. This is related to your ongoing reading. We are going to attempt to use this new software, new to me, called Flipgrid. And I want you to use this. You record yourself, either video or just audio, a 5-minute guided reflection about one of your ongoing readings. And you're going to share it with the class. And I want you to view someone else's reflection and comment and give feedback. So I'm trying to make this interactive. So here we have some ground rules for the assignment. You can't do both in the same week. You can do them back to back, but you can't do them both in the same week. You can't view and respond to the other 2 videos that you have to do in the same week as well. You may do them back to back, but you can't do them both in the same week. Please be concise. This is only supposed to be 5 minutes. And please touch on all the prompts below. Please be respectful in how you respond to other people's reflections. Follow what we call the platinum rule and talk to other people how they want to be addressed. And we're all familiar with the golden rule. So treat others how you want to be treated. Platinum rule is think about how they want to be treated, because we may not realize that we talk to members of our own group in a way that other people may find offensive. Please send me an email when you've posted each of your reflections so that I can go on and view them as well. And please do not leave this assignment until the end. You have the whole semester, 9 weeks of ongoing reading to complete the assignment. So I'm really not going to be super flexible here, because I'm asking you now to please not leave this till the last minute. So as you're reading your ongoing reading articles and you prepare to discuss your article, consider the following questions. These are the prompts that I want you to touch on. You can see there's 6 of them, so you really need to be precise in your speaking. What is the problem, the research practice problem that the authors seek to address in their study? What theoretical or methodological approach do the authors utilize to answer their research questions? And what do you think about that? What do you think about their theory? What do you think about their methods? Are they appropriate? What's left out? What are the main findings? In what ways do the main findings address the initial problem and add to what we knew before the study was conducted? What did you learn that you didn't know? Did the study change your thinking about the topic, and in what ways? What questions are you left with? So here's the technical part, signing up for Flipgrid. You should be able to link to it from our Teams page. There, you can also link to it through this document. There's the link. There is a QR code, 2 QR codes for your 2 posts. If you have questions, please let me know as soon as possible if you're having issues. This is new to me, but I think that it's going to be cool. And I want you to go into this with as a challenge and as an opportunity to learn from each other. You can earn up to 6 points for the 2 reflections, so 3 points each and up to 4 points for your responses to other reflections. So please take these seriously, because they do count towards your grade. All right, discussion. Let's see, discussion board. Whenever we post on discussion board, I have a rubric so you can look at, well, what am I looking for? Please read through this, get to know it, love it. And let's see, we have a written reflection, and this is due next week. This is really a personal statement. I want it to be well written, but otherwise I don't have a lot of guidelines for you. What I'm asking you specifically to reflect on is first your position. Position is the adoption of a particular reference point, position, opinion, perspective in relation to others, usually with references to issues of culture, ethnicity, or gender. So it's your worldview, your position relative to what you are doing, who you believe you are. So I'm interested in, what is your position vis-a-vis leading and researching? Why do you lead? Why are you interested in research? And again, there's really no wrong answers to this. There's just poorly written answers. So take time, write it carefully, reflect on it, revise it before you turn it in. And then identity. So how do you define yourself in the world? We think of this as a social construction. It gives people a sense of being who they are in a group or community, a lens through which you can perceive and experience the social world. And we all have identities. Even identity politics or identity are not just for people of color and marginalized communities. I have an identity as a white woman. I have an identity as relating to my generation. I have an identity as a mother, as a researcher, as a person who engages in this type of research. So this is something that we all have, and maybe you've never thought about this before because maybe your identity is not one that is ever particularly marginalized or under threat, but we all have it. And there is not a question of, oh, some identities are better or preferable. No, it's just identity is who you are. And you really should understand that and think about how did I develop my identity? How does it shape my work? And they're really going to help shape, whether you realize it or not, they're going to help shape the type of research you want to engage in, the type of work you do as a leader. And so this is your opportunity to reflect on it. It should be no longer than 3 pages. So really 2 to 3 pages, don't turn in a paragraph. It won't be sufficient. I really want you to be thoughtful about this. It is graded, no rubric. It's due in week, is not due in week 4, it is due in week 2. So please note that it is due in week 2. It says in the assignment sheet week 4, this is a typo. See, my imperfections are out there and screaming. Please do not come to me and say, oh, the assignment sheet said week 4. I'm telling you now it's week 2 and it is in the syllabus week 2. All right, those are our assignments. Please let me know if you have questions about them. I will be happy to answer them via email or next week when we meet. A little bit of food for thought. Just some of this has already come up in our orientation. Some of you have had issues with email. If you want to change where your University of Houston email gets sent to, you can visit this website and tell or direct your email to your Gmail account or maybe your ISD account. Please form a cohort messaging group, GroupMe, WhatsApp, etc., to communicate amongst each other, to support each other, to ask questions, to talk about how amazing or bad my hair looks. Whatever the topic might be, it will be invaluable. Get to know your library. Here is that short, it's about 3-4 minutes. It's just a quick introduction to the library and a welcome back. Questions. This is one of my favorite PhD comments. PhD standing for piled higher and deeper. It is very funny. Spend some time with it. Live it. Love it. This is going to be you, not of course over 9 years, but this will be you 3 to 4 years. It is up and down. That's why your GroupMe is going to be so important. Find your buddy or your buddies in the program and be there for each other. What is next? So next week we will be synchronous. That means that I want you all to log on to Teams, bring your happy, smiling, surviving face, and just be yourself. So if you're not happy and smiling, that's okay. We still want you. We will talk about what research is and how do we read an academic article. And you will be experts in that because you will watch my amazing long video on it. And we will talk about your questions. Your written reflection is due next week. Do not miss it. Week 3 will also be synchronous. We will talk about the ologies, epistemology, ontology, methodology, research paradigms. Get ready, buckle up. There's a lot of big words. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to be fun. We'll have a guest speaker, Dr. Delisa Franklin, who is an SSO, a school support officer in HISD, one of my fantastic former students. She is going to come and talk about her journey. And then we'll have a quick library orientation from the education librarian, Sean Villancourt. He's amazing. I'm excited that he can join us. In week 4, we will be asynchronous. We will have more, it will focus additionally on epistemology, ontology, and research paradigms. And you will work in a group that we will assign next week to create videos about your article and how it's an example of a certain research paradigm. That is it. Thank you so much for listening to my egregiously long video. I miss you all already. Be safe, and we will meet soon.